everyone, and welcome to Senior Susie Stamps. Sometimes at night I have a little trouble sleeping, and I get up and do some Sudoku or watch some TV, and other times I pull out some of my card making magazines, and this happens to be Take 10 Winter 2016, and I look for cards that would be something that would be easy and that would use scraps, and I found a couple here that I thought we would make today. And I know these are very, very simple cards, but I have several examples that I'll show you. Now on these, they're kind of monochromatic, and of course they've got a lot of white space, so they're a clean and simple basic card, but I don't know if you can see it or not, but there are some score marks here and here on both of these cards, and so that adds a little bit more interest. Now on these were stamped on top of a linen type paper, but today I thought we could use some designer paper and perhaps some die cuts or some stickers, and let me show you the examples of what I've already got done for this week. I wanted to see how that clean and simple style worked not on white cardstock, and so I decided to use some blue. And this paper is some from Crafter's Companion. I think I still have it out here. Hang on. This is absolutely stunning paper, and I don't know if it's still available or not, but it's called Winter Wonderland, and it's just gorgeous. I'll run through it right quick so you can see some of it. Let's see how pretty that is. And I just went into this pack and grabbed my scraps because obviously this little piece here doesn't take much, and then I had already cut out some of these ornaments out of the paper, so it worked out really well. And then I chose some of the paper to back the poinsettia with that had some little silver dots, and I got out a blue alcohol marker and just colored it blue. Now on the inside of this card, this blue paper is some, I wouldn't say lightweight, but it's more a medium lightweight cardstock, and I really didn't feel like it was quite heavy enough. So this is a trick you can do by putting a white sheet on both sides, and that helps to stiffen up this paper and make it a nice, more substantial card to send out. So there's card number one, and here is the longer version. And in the Take 10 magazine, there were two little embellishments here and a third one up there, and I just decided to do some die cuts. I decided to do some punched flowers, and I added a little glitter to these, and there's a little bit of glitter on this ornament as well, and they turned out really pretty, but I didn't think that they were quite as elegant, perhaps, as the basic white cardstock would be. So I went back and decided to do the same thing all over again, just using white cardstock. And so here's the first one, and again this is probably 1 3/4 square and 2 inches square. It was a silver stripe, and I just took my alcohol marker and went over it with the blue so that it coordinated together. And this is a fussy cut that actually I had stuck on another card and I didn't like it, so I just cut it off and put it on the front of this card. And again, I put a nice panel inside, and this is a really pretty, elegant card to send and super simple to make. This is the second one in that set. It's the other end of that paper, that 1 3/4 inch paper. So this is 1 3/4, and I have no idea what that length is. I didn't pay any attention to it. I just cut it and made it. This is a little punched snowflake that I used my alcohol marker on. This is some of that text paper, and I used my alcohol marker on that. And again, there's 3 little gems inside and done. Now I thought it might kind of be fun to step these up a notch, and here are the versions of that. And this is the silver text paper that comes in that pack. Here's a little bit more of that striped paper, and this designer paper that I had a little piece of, and I just went back in and used my blue pen and made some little blueberries with my little circle punch and my little leaf punch, and that card with a little twine bow is done, and it's really pretty. Now I have yet to figure out what these blueberries have to do with Christmas, but I just went with it because that's what I had. And this is the final one that is kind of an elevated up version of that piece. And again, I used my blue pen here and here. This is that same paper we just looked at with the blueberries on it. I had a punch out of the some of that paper has snowflakes on it, so I just punched one out and I used my winter stamp. These came from the Dollar Tree several years ago. I put some little silver stars there and another little snowflake from the Dollar Tree on the inside. And isn't that a gorgeous card? I'm happy to send these out. So today I went to my stash and pulled some Echo Park paper. And this is called Celebrate Winter. And you can see I have very little of it left, but what I do have are these stickers. So we'll be using some of those today. And then I have some larger pieces here. And I had some 6x6 scraps. And I thought, well, what I'll do is to cut some bases down, because in this stash here I have some cut aparts, and so they will be one and done cards for, you know, donation or something where I don't want to spend a lot of time on a Christmas card. So this is the 4" by 5 1/4" layer, and there's 4 of them. Now this happens to be double-sided paper, but you don't need double-sided paper for this. At any rate, these started out today as 6x6, and I cut these down so I have some scraps left, and that's what we're going to use today. So I have 4 approximately 2" by 5 1/4" pieces, and then these 4 strips that I thought might be nice for the inside of the cards. And if I need to pull something else out and either punch it or fussy cut it, if I don't find exactly what I'm looking for in those stickers, then I'll pull these back out first and we'll use them. So let me get some of this stuff out of my road and I'll come right back and we'll get started. Now, in addition to using these scraps, I also went to my paper stash and pulled some paper that I thought would maybe work as backing papers. None of them are the perfect match, and that's okay because they are close enough, I think, to do what we need to do today. So that's what we're going to use. And I think I'll start with this blue because it really goes very well with that little bit of blue there. So let's do these red ones first and see what we come up with for them. And because this is double-sided paper, I want to look at the back and see. Now obviously I'm going to want to use those mittens because they're just way cute, but I might use this one with that pattern, and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to want to use these little guys because they're just precious. So we'll use those fronts and get started. Now I've cut this to 2 inches, but unfortunately this piece is also about 2 inches. So I'm going to cut this down to 1 3/4 inches square and then cut this 2 by 2. And we'll glue it up. And we are well on our way to being done with that. Now, this one you might think, well, let's see what's on the back. Well, I kind of like that. So I'll flip this one over and we'll see where we end up going with that. Let's finish this one up first. Now, part of the interest on this card is this little subtle score work here. I've already glued the inside panel to that one. I really enjoy making these cards. They were fun to make. So I'm going to put a score, and I'm scoring down from the top side of these cards so that the bump goes down in, and I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch from the top of the card, from the bottom of the card to the top of the card, and then I'm going to score it at 1 inch. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side, 1/2 and 1. And this is just a very subtle way of adding a little bit of texture, and I don't know if you can even see that in the camera or not, but it's a subtle way of adding a little bit of texture to these cards. I'm going to glue this up, and I'm planning to glue these all just down flat on the card front. And only put any kind of dimension on the embellishment that we put on. So far, this is a very, very flat card. And I just space whatever square size that is equally between these two score lines. There we go. And so now all we need is a little embellishment to go with this. And what about this little guy? He is very cute. And a sentiment. So let's use this little Snow Much Fun. And I'm going to get it in the center here. And I'm going to pull some of those Dollar Tree snowflakes. And we'll just call this card pretty nearly finished. So you can see just how easy this format really is. If you have some scraps and some stickers or die cuts or punched things to go with it. So there's card number 1. Let's go ahead and finish the other side here. This paper has a little bit of a linen texture to it, and I think I see one down in here that will work, and there it is. I think so. There we go, right there. So we'll need to cut it now, and this one is 2 7/8, I think. So let's make this one 3 1/8. 3 1/8 by 2 1/4, and that is 2 1/4. What do you know about that? So we're just going to glue this and see what kind of, well, I guess I didn't measure it right, did I? That's okay. We'll just bring our trimmer back and cut a little bit off. A little bit more. Better to have a little left and cut a second time than to have too much and not and cut too much off and then not have enough left. So let's see how this looks on a plain white card base. Well, that's not terribly festive, is it? Oh, did you all see what I had my little stickers in? It's a Swiffer mop container. I save all of these because they're fabulous in the studio for storage. And you know, when you use a Swiffer mop, then you don't have much left that you need to do except throw it out or use it in something like this. Oh, I need to do my score lines. Let me do that right quick. I have too many things pulled out today. Normally my little work table that's over to the left of me is pretty cleared off, but I was making all those cards earlier this week, and so now things are starting to get lost. I hope I'm not the only one that happens to. I have a feeling that I am not. So we're going to do the same thing here. 1/2 inch and 1 inch on both sides. Now be careful when you're scoring these that you don't punch through your cardstock, because or do like I just did and move it over. If you do that, however, and you know what you're going to use is going to cover that up, you can take your bone folder and flatten out on the inside so that imprint on the inside goes away. You will still be able to see it on the outside, but we're getting ready to cover that up right now, and it's never going to be seen again. And there we go. Now let's just see what kind of a little cutie pie, like maybe this one, or perhaps this one. Wouldn't that be nice? Just this little sticker guy here. I think what I'll do with this one is to see if I can't use some of the paper title, Celebrate Winter, and just use that right down here as a greeting. So let's cut that off, and I believe I'll put that up on some foam tape. Now in this sticker pack, there's also some little snowflakes. Let's put this like he's just ice skating right there on top of our little snowflake. There. Right across there like that. And I think that's adorably cute. And maybe pull a snowflake in maybe one of these blue ones here. Let's see. And kind of offset over here on this side, which helps to balance, I think, that card just a little bit. And then I'm going to get some gems and put on this card. Just a couple maybe. Let's see what we got. For sure I want one here. Possibly one there. And maybe one here. Oops. And I've already gone ahead and stamped my little interior page for these. So they are ready to glue in. On the last one, I had already glued it in for some reason. So now we have bling, we have a trio that'll help us move our eyes, we have a cute little sentiment, and we're going to finish the inside with this panel, which I've already got stamped and ready to roll out. And so there's card number 2 in this set. This is a nice way to kind of elevate the feel of your cards, and that is to stamp your interior sentiment just on plain white and glue it in. So there's card number 2. And let's see what else we've got here. Let's do mittens next. You want to? So this is 2 inches. And I think I have a piece over here in this blue that's going to be wide enough to use with that. And I do. So we'll cut the top half at 2 by 2. And there we are. That's our first little square. When I pull scraps, I like to see that I'm using the smallest piece possible, and this is it. Possibly that one, but I think this one will work better for both of them. And that way you utilize every bit of your paper in a fashion that utilizes the most of your paper, if that makes any sense. Sorry. Okay. So now there's that one, and if we leave kind of an even border around, we can trim this back and have our first little bit. And I didn't get a good cut on that, did I? No worries there. We'll just bring our scissors out and trim that off. So there's the first one. Let's see if this one will be good enough for that second piece, and by George it is. Oh, very nice. Let's just glue both of these up at the same time and see how they finish out. And that gives us our nice little score line detail. And I'm going to go ahead and do the other one. I'll be right back. And let's go ahead and glue these panels in, and then we'll figure out just how easy it is to embellish them. This is non-directional, so I'm just going to put it in there as is. But I am going to watch my spacing on my scores and make sure that they turn out equally on both sides. There we are. That little guy is very, very cute. And I have one over here as well as this little penguin. So I'm thinking I might like to use this little snow bear over here, like maybe here. And I think we'll do Happy Winter, maybe. The blue and white would work well with that. Or how about Chill Out? That's kind of fun. And I believe I'll mount that up on a piece of blue, if it'll fit. Let's just see. Might as well use that scrap too. There we go. Let's see if I can cut straight today. And there we are. So I think, wouldn't that be fun having him hold a little sign that says Chill Out. But in keeping with this bunch of cards, I think I'll go ahead and put it up at the top, up on a piece of foam. And I believe I'll pull a few more of those little Dollar Tree snowflakes. Unless I find something else. Now, I'm noticing that these little snowflakes here actually are the same design as this punch that I have. So, let's try this and see how it looks. There we go. So there's two of them. Let's just see. Oh yeah, I think that'll work, don't you? I do. So I'm going to put my little gems in the center of those, but I'm going to glue these down first. And I don't feel like they need to be glued completely down, so I'm just going to put them like that. And maybe the other one up here in this other corner. And get a little gem put on them. And this card will be done once I put the little sentiment on the inside. There we go. Get my little gems back out. Oh, I had some pulled over here. Here they go. Put one in the very center here. Put my sentiment inside. Some years I don't put the sentiment inside until I figure out where the cards are going. And I think I'm not going to do that anymore if I can avoid it, because it's always a hassle trying to go back and put sentiments in all of your cards. So I think that's a thing of the past. But in the past, I kind of needed to know where the cards were going. But I didn't need to know when I made them. So, you know how that runs. And there we go. Chill Out. So that's card number 3. And let's do this one. And maybe try to use another sticker, perhaps. Maybe this Christmas tree would be pretty. Right, like that. And now, I think I'll go back and just try the little 3 gems on this. And we'll put them here, 2 on this side, and then maybe 1 up here. And we'll see if that card is finished enough. And that follows the original format that we saw in the magazine very, very closely then. I think it needs a little sentiment, maybe right up in here. Let's just see what that looks like. And there we go. That evens out the card very nicely. And so here are 4 cards that we made in just a matter of a very few minutes. They're absolutely adorable. Look in your stash and see what you've got, that you have some scraps and either some stickers or some die cuts that are left over, or use your stamps and make something that will coordinate with them. Put your little sentiment on, maybe a few little Dollar Tree gems or some other punched element, and have a nice, quick set of cards. Let me get the rest of these back out. And here are the rest of the cards that we looked at earlier. I'm not sure I'm going to even have enough room here, but at any rate, there we go. So I hope these gave you an idea of something fun and quick that you can make. This would be a good project to make in maybe a women's group at church, or just with some girlfriends over a cup of coffee. And so have a great week, you all, and I'll see you again real soon. Bye.